Hey everyone, welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're going to be exploring something I think a lot of you are really interested in.
Okay.
And that's the power of the subconscious mind.
Right.
And to help us, we're going to be taking a deep dive into a classic book on the subject, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Now, I know you guys are all about maximizing your time. So, we're going to try to extract the most powerful ideas from the book
Yeah,
so that you can kind of grasp how your thoughts shape your reality.
absolutely.
And we'll try to do this quickly and thoroughly so that you have those aha moments, but without feeling totally overwhelmed.
It's a dense book, so yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
that's a good goal.
So the core idea that we're going to be tackling today is this idea that your subconscious is a powerhouse
Yes.
and you have the steering wheel.
You can direct it.
You can direct it.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons why I think Murphy's work is so popular and it's continued to resonate with people is because it's very direct. He's not messing around. He cuts through all the jargon and he offers some really practical ways to tap into this hidden part of ourselves.
Yeah.
It's like you can think of it like this.
Okay.
You might consciously be planning your day, you know, but your subconscious is the one that remembers how to tie your shoes or drive your car.
Right.
It's like running the show on a whole other level.
Yeah. So let's get into this fundamental idea. Like, what is the difference between our conscious mind and our subconscious mind?
Oh,
Because, like, right now, as you're listening to me,
yeah.
that's your conscious mind.
Right.
What is this other part?
Okay, so imagine an iceberg, right?
Okay.
The tip of the iceberg that you see above the water, that's your conscious mind.
Okay.
That's the one that's responsible for your immediate thoughts, your logic, your decisions.
Okay.
But then you have this massive part of the iceberg underneath the surface, that's your subconscious.
Okay.
And that's where all of your beliefs and your emotions, your habits, your long-term memories, all of that is stored. And it operates largely on autopilot. So you're not even really aware of all the things that are influencing your feelings and your actions.
So it's like if you were on a ship.
Okay.
The conscious mind is the captain up there making the decisions like turn the wheel this way.
Yeah,
But the subconscious mind is like this giant engine room that's driving the ship.
precisely. And the really interesting part is that Dr. Murphy argues that this subconscious mind acts like a giant computer.
Okay.
So whatever you feed it,
Okay.
whether it's positive or negative,
Mm-hmm.
it just diligently brings that into your experience.
Wow.
It doesn't judge or
Uh-huh.
analyze. It just takes those dominant thoughts and feelings as the operating system for your life.
So if someone is constantly telling themselves, I'm unlucky,
Yeah.
I'm not good at this,
Yeah.
I can't do that, I'll never achieve my goals.
Right.
That's what their subconscious mind is working on.
Exactly. It's like your subconscious has this search and fulfill function. And if you're constantly telling yourself, I'm not good enough, you're basically giving it the command to find all the reasons why you're not good enough.
And it will find those reasons,
It will find those reasons and it will present them to you in your reality.
which kind of explains like why some people are just stuck in these negative patterns.
Absolutely.
And some people just seem to effortlessly attract good fortune.
Right, because they have given their subconscious different instructions.
Yeah, it's almost like they've got a different search query in there.
Exactly.
So if our subconscious mind is so powerful
Yeah.
that it's shaping our reality,
Yes.
how do we change the programming?
That's the big question, right?
Yeah.
Like what we want to know.
How do we rewrite the code?
So the key is to start feeding your subconscious mind the thoughts and beliefs that you want to experience.
Okay.
It's like planting seeds in a garden.
Yeah.
The more consistently you plant those seeds, the more likely they are to sprout and grow.
So it's about being intentional.
It's about being intentional and it's about repetition. And Murphy talks about this concept called autosuggestion.
Auto-suggestion. So what is that?
So autosuggestion is really just a fancy word for intentional self-talk.
Okay.
It's the practice of deliberately feeding your subconscious mind the specific thoughts or ideas that you want it to accept as true.
Okay.
So you're basically suggesting to your subconscious, hey, this is how I want things to be.
So like affirmations.
Affirmations are a great example of autosuggestion.
Okay.
It's about repeating positive statements to yourself regularly.
So it's not just like mindlessly saying words over and over again.
It's not about mindlessly repeating words. It's about really feeling those words and believing them.
Okay.
Think about Muhammad Ali.
Okay.
He was always saying, I am the greatest.
Right.
And it wasn't just an empty boast. He really believed it.
Yeah.
And that belief fueled his training, his strategy, and ultimately his success.
It's kind of like that idea of fake it till you make it.
Kind of, but it's more than just faking it.
Okay.
It's about convincing your subconscious that it's already true.
Okay, so Let's say someone's struggling financially.
Mm-hmm.
Could they use an affirmation like, money flows easily and abundantly into my life?
Absolutely. But here's the catch.
Okay.
You have to actually believe it.
Okay.
If you're saying that affirmation, but you're feeling anxious about money and you're worried about bills,
Yeah.
then you're sending mixed signals to your subconscious.
So it's not going to work.
It might not be as effective.
Okay.
You have to get your thoughts and feelings in alignment with what you're saying.
It's got to be genuine.
It has to be genuine.
Okay, I like that. So it's not just about the words, it's about the feeling behind the words.
Exactly.
Okay, now I'm curious about something else. The book also talks about the connection between our subconscious and our physical health.
Yes.
What does it say about that?
So Dr. Murphy believes that our subconscious mind has a powerful influence over our physical well-being.
Okay.
He says that our thoughts and beliefs can actually affect our health. Yeah, so if we're constantly thinking negative thoughts, worrying about getting sick or feeling stress, that can actually weaken our immune system and make us more susceptible to illness.
So it's kind of like our subconscious mind is the body's pharmacy,
I like that.
and our thoughts are the prescriptions.
Yes, exactly.
Interesting.
And a really good example of this is the placebo effect.
Okay.
You've probably heard of that.
Yeah.
When people believe that they're receiving a powerful treatment,
Hmm.
even if it's just a sugar pill,
Right.
they can experience real improvements in their health.
That's amazing.
It is amazing. It shows you the power of the mind.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of any, like, really crazy examples of that?
Oh, yeah. Dr. Murphy shares a bunch of stories in the book.
Oh, really?
One that really sticks with me is about a woman who was diagnosed with a tumor.
Okay.
And instead of giving into fear,
Mm-hmm.
she just constantly visualized herself as being healthy and healed.
Okay.
And eventually the tumor disappeared.
Wow.
It's pretty remarkable, right?
Yeah, that's wild.
Now, obviously, we have to be a little careful with anecdotal evidence,
Right.
but it does show you that there's a powerful mind-body connection.
Yeah, so for someone listening right now,
Yeah.
what would you tell them about how they can use this information to improve their health?
Well, I would say that one of the most important things you can do is to start becoming aware of your thoughts. Pay attention to what you're saying to yourself.
Mhm.
And if you notice that you're having a lot of negative thoughts or you're dwelling on fears and worries, try to gently shift your focus to more positive and constructive thoughts.
So it's not like you can just like snap your fingers and change your thought.
No, it's a process.
Yeah.
It takes time and practice.
But the idea is just to start becoming more aware.
Exactly. Awareness is the first step.
Okay, I like that. Now let's shift gears a little bit and talk about something I know a lot of people are interested in.
Okay.
Money.
Right?
Everyone wants to know how to attract more money.
Of course.
What does the power of your subconscious mind say about that?
Well, Dr. Murphy argues that our subconscious beliefs about money play a huge role in our financial success.
Okay.
He says that a lot of people have these deeply ingrained negative beliefs about money.
Like what?
Like money is hard to earn, or there's never enough,
Right.
or rich people are greedy.
Yeah.
And these beliefs can act as mental barriers that prevent us from attracting wealth.
It's like our subconscious mind is putting up roadblocks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like it's saying, nope, you're not allowed to be wealthy.
Wow.
But on the other hand, people who are financially successful,
Mm-hmm.
they often have very different beliefs about money.
Like what?
They believe that money is a tool for good,
Okay.
that opportunities for prosperity are all around them,
Mm-hmm.
and that they are worthy of abundance.
So it's not just about working hard. It's about changing our beliefs about money.
Absolutely. You have to shift your mindset from scarcity to abundance.
Okay. How do we do that?
Well, Dr. Murphy recommends a really interesting technique.
What's that?
He says we should imagine ourselves as already being wealthy. We should really feel the emotions of abundance and gratitude
Mm-hmm.
and believe that we can achieve our financial goals.
It's like a mental rehearsal for wealth.
Exactly. You're creating a blueprint for success in your mind.
And that sends a message to our subconscious.
It does. It tells your subconscious, this is what I want.
I love it. Okay, so we've talked about health. We've talked about money.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about relationships,
Okay.
because I know that's something that a lot of people struggle with.
It's a big one.
It is a big one. So can our subconscious mind also influence our relationships?
Definitely. Our subconscious beliefs about relationships can have a huge impact on the kinds of relationships we attract.
Okay, so give me an example.
Well, if you're always thinking I always attract the wrong kind of people,
Yeah.
or relationships are always painful,
Mm-hmm.
then you're more likely to experience those kinds of relationships.
It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Exactly.
Wow.
But the good news is
What's that?
that you can change those beliefs.
Okay, so what do you do?
Well, you can start by using affirmations,
Okay.
like I attract loving and supportive people into my life,
Mm-hmm.
or I am worthy of healthy and fulfilling relationships.
And just repeating those over and over.
Exactly. Repetition is key.
Okay.
And it's also important to cultivate self-love.
So how does that tie into relationships?
When you love and accept yourself,
Mm-hmm.
you project a different energy.
Oh,
And you attract people who will treat you with respect and kindness.
it's like you're putting out a different vibe.
Exactly.
So the more we love ourselves, the better our relationships will be.
Absolutely.
And the happier we'll be in general,
Exactly.
because happiness comes from within.
It does.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot of different ways that our subconscious mind can influence our lives.
Yes,
But I want to make sure that our listeners walk away with some practical tips.
absolutely.
So what are some concrete things that people can start doing today to reprogram their subconscious mind?
Well, we've already talked about affirmations. Repeating positive statements to yourself regularly.
Mm-hmm.
Another powerful technique is visualization.
Visualization, what is that?
It's basically creating a mental movie of your desired outcome.
Okay.
So if you want to achieve a certain goal,
Mm-hmm.
close your eyes and imagine yourself already having achieved that goal.
Okay.
Really engage all of your senses.
Yeah.
Make it as real as possible in your mind.
So it's not just seeing it, it's like feeling it, hearing it, smelling it.
Exactly. The more vivid the visualization, the more powerful it will be.
I like that. Okay. So we've got affirmations, we've got visualization. What else?
Gratitude is another really important practice.
Gratitude.
Yeah, taking time each day to appreciate the good things in your life,
Okay.
no matter how small they may seem.
Mm-hmm.
This helps to shift your focus from lack to abundance.
So it's like training our minds to see the positive.
Exactly.
Okay. And what about meditation? Does Dr. Murphy talk about that?
He does. He recommends meditation as a way to quiet the conscious mind
Okay.
and become more receptive to positive suggestions.
So it's like creating space for those new beliefs to take root.
Precisely.
I like that. Okay. Now, before we wrap up,
Yeah.
I'd love to hear if you have any like real life success stories that kind of illustrate the power of these techniques.
Oh, yeah. There are tons of stories out there.
Okay.
But one that I always find inspiring is the story of Jim Carrey.
Oh, Jim Carrey. Okay.
Yeah. So before he was famous,
Hmm.
he wrote himself a check for $10 million
Wow.
for acting services rendered.
Okay.
And he kept it in his wallet as a way of visualizing his success.
So he was like manifesting his future.
Exactly.
That's me.
And guess what? A few years later,
Yeah.
he landed a role in Dumb and Dumber for
Okay.
$10 million.
No way.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's a pretty amazing example of the power of belief and visualization.
It really is.
So the takeaway here is that anything is possible if you believe in yourself and you're willing to put in the work.
So for our listeners out there,
Yeah.
what's the one thing that you want them to take away from this deep dive?
Well, I would say that the most important thing is to start becoming aware of the power of your subconscious mind.
Go ahead.
Understand that your thoughts and beliefs are creating your reality
Mm-hmm.
and that you have the power to change those thoughts and beliefs.
Right. So it's not about just like listening to this and being like, oh, that's interesting.
No, it's about taking action.
Right.
Start using the techniques that we've talked about today
Mm-hmm.
and see what happens.
Experiment with it
Exactly.
and see how your life changes.
You might be surprised by the results.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for joining us today for this deep dive.
It's been my pleasure.
It's been a really fascinating conversation, and I hope that everyone listening has learned something valuable that they can take with them.
I hope so too.
As you go about your day, I want you to think about this.
Okay.
What's one limiting belief that you're holding on to
Mm-hmm.
that's preventing you from achieving your full potential?
That's a great question.
It could be anything. It could be about your health, your finances, your relationships, your career.
Mm.
Once you identify that belief,
Yes.
start using the techniques that we talked about today
Right.
to challenge it and reprogram it.
Absolutely.
And remember, you have the power to create the life you want.
You do.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on The Deep Dive. Bye.